Okay, I have to redo this video because I misspoke on a couple things. Let's start from square one. 1492, when Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and they say that that's when he discovered America, right? Now, what we have to understand and remember is that America was built on Freemasonry. And Freemasonry is all about Solomon's temple and King Solomon and the way that he lived. And King Solomon was a type and shadow of the Antichrist. There's all kinds of things that add up to 666 and so on. So 1492, Freemasonry started, they say that they discovered America. Now, if you go 1492 BC, that is the very beginning, the first year that King Solomon's temple started to be built. You see the connection there, okay? Now going back up to Christopher Columbus, 1492, if you go 538 years forward, you land in 2030 AD, which is when we've been saying it's all over. Okay? 538 years, it's all over. Well, if you go to zero right here on the timeline and go 538 years back, you come to 538 BC, which is the year that King Cyrus let all the Jews go. You see these patterns? What happens in 2030? All of the Jews are gathered. They're on the run and they're gathered. The same thing, the same principle. You see these number connections, these patterns. Now, if we look at this in 1492 BC as King Solomon's temple starting to be built, then we go to 1492 AD when we see America discovered, start to be built. America is a type and shadow of the temple. The whole country is ran by Freemasons. You have to understand that. That's why on your dollar bill, it's all Freemason stuff. And what's on it? Pyramids and all kinds of ancient symbols, stuff like this, from Egypt. Egypt. Now listen. Egypt is where the Jews were housed when they were in bondage, slavery. Well, if America is spiritual Egypt and Sodom, well, everybody's saying that the Hebrews are really the black people that came over here that were enslaved and bondaged for 538 years until 2030 AD. Do we see the patterns here? Do we see the patterns? That's what's going on. America is a type and shadow of spiritual Sodom and Egypt, or Mystery Babylon. Okay, but in this, we're looking at that. And the black people now are here as slaves, just like in the past. And you have the number connections. From 1492 to 2030 is 538. 538 BC is when all the Jews were let go. 538 years from 1492 is the same exact thing. Christ comes and gathers his people. I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ is a black man. And we've been saying this. That is what I found today. And there's another type of shadow that is not me finding it. But if you go to, it is said that if you go to 2030 BC, instead of AD, but 2030 BC, that is when Abraham started his 7-year journey, and you go to 2023. So we have the same pattern up here, 2023 to 2030. This is confirmation for me that 2030 is absolutely the end. There's no doubt in my mind, and this is confirmation of what America truly is. And here's the crazy thing. If you look up the number 538 in the Strong's Concordance Greek, it means to deceive. To deceive. You know, NASA also means to deceive. But what's 538? The entire time from Christopher to Columbus to 2030, to deceive. They hid who the true Hebrews are, to deceive, right? It's crazy, man. Down one last super crazy pattern that is so mind-blowing. Wow. Okay. So you've heard about the 538, what it is. It's the time from America discovery to 2030. And then we go back, 538 BC. It's when the Jews were let go. So you have that 538 type and shadow, BC. And then from there, right? But here's the crazy thing. Think about this. If you go from 538 BC, when King Cyrus let all the Jews go, 2,030 years, 2030, you get to 1492. When Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered America. 2,030 years. And then go another 538 years, you come to 2030 AD, where it's all over. You guys, we're in the last 7 years. This is it. This is incredible. I can't believe this.